Okay, today I have a choice to rant on Netanyahu, person I despise, or Bill Maher, person I greatly admire. And I'm gonna rant on Bill Maher today. First, I should make a point that Mr. Maher sometimes, when he does his new rules, sometimes I sit there and think, how is this dude is so deep in my subconscious that he's organizing it as a little bit ahead of me. Just amazing, a really amazing voice for not just progressivism, but just a voice for truth, what really is going on here. And so it's odd to rant, but I think you are so wrong about the millennials. And if you are right, then it's over anyway, okay? But I think you're wrong. I'm a school bus driver, and I will send you send your people a little blurb I wrote about one of my students this year, and over the years I've had lots of great kids. I think you're selling them short, big time. And I know you read a lot. I assume that you've read Strauss and Howe, History of America, of Generations, the History of America's Future, and or The Fourth Turning. And we are living through the fourth secular crisis in American history, okay? And let's look back at the previous two. There was the Depression, World War II crisis, and our generational type is the dominant inner-directed type, or idealist type. You and me and that lunatic in the White House are all that type. The idealist type, being so deep in their own heads, can tend to be self-absorbed, self-indulgent, but previous secular crisis, who was the president elected by our generational type, the idealist type? Franklin Roosevelt. Previous generational dynamic, the previous secular crisis, the Civil War. Who did the idealist generational type, the transcendentalists, put into the presidency in their elderhood? Abraham Lincoln. Who have we put in? Okay, we're going into a crisis. He's part of the conspiracy against this country. He is, and we're responsible for it. I mean, how can we sit there and rant against the millennials when it's us? Okay, we put a mentally diseased degenerate, comic opera fascist, money laundering stooge, and a traitor, someone on the other side, someone allied with our primary enemy, and I'll get into that, not on this video, but they're identifying the primary enemy as a big part of all this. And you're ranting about the millennials? They're the victims, okay? They're the victims. Our job, I'll give you an example. The previous generation, the GI generation that fought World War II, this is an interesting statistical parallel. Presently, more 18 to 30-year-olds, we've all noticed this, 18 to 34-year-olds living at home with their parents, okay? That, we condemn them for that. Well, the highest number before, in 1935, was the last time when it was this high, that 18 to 34-year-olds living with their parents. Now, the previous time is because the entire economy collapsed. And there was no construction going on, so people got the kids got, and young adults got stuck living at home with their parents. The reason now is because of our greed, okay? Because of the mortgage interest deduction. the construction market gears itself to that, builds how, like one of the kids in my bus said, why do all these old people live in such big houses? Well, everyone is incentivized through the tax system to leverage themselves into the biggest possible house. The social necessity of providing housing is an afterthought, okay? So these kids wind up living, because you know what it is, Denver? It's like $1,300 a month for a studio apartment. I mean, yeah, the wrong stuff's being built. I mean, and capitalism should be able to solve this problem, but we've gerrymandered, we've rigged the tax system so much for our benefit that the kids are getting screwed, okay? That's our fault, okay? We're supposed to lead in elderhood, okay? We're supposed to lead. We're supposed to provide wisdom. Instead, we're providing greed. We are functions of greed. And the kids are getting screwed, okay? And now let's look at the phenomenon of a clinical narcissist. Donald Trump is the worst of all we are. Our generational personality, the narcissism, the self-indulgence, I mean, it's putrid. It's just putrid. And he's got 40-some-odd% support. And I mean, he's one of us. We're responsible for that. And then, you know, you rag on the millennials for being, you know, into political correctness and stuff. Compare that again with the GI generation. Look at the activists during the 30s. Okay, they knew that GI generation, which is a civic type, the dominant outer directed generational type. They knew what they were up against. They knew in the 30s, before their parents had figured it out, and before the leadership had figured it out, that we would have to fight the fascists, okay? They were the primary enemy. We have to confront them. And they were strong within the country too, by the way, okay? They were called America First. And I know you know that, okay? They were called America First. And here we are going through the whole thing again, and through the stupidity of the Electoral College, which we should have changed years ago, but we didn't, and gerrymandering, which we should have fought, but we didn't, okay, because we're so worried about our checkbooks that we thought, oh, we got to keep the Republicans in charge so that we don't give any money to the poor people. You know, I mean, we're responsible for this, okay, and ragging on the kids is BS. And like I was trying to get to the point before, that GI generation in the 30s was overwhelmingly progressive, and they had to fight their parents all the way to get the country to stand up to fascism. And right now, we've got a Russian-financed global fascist conspiracy, okay, with the participation of a significant chunk of our ruling elite who envy the Russian oligarchs. And you know all this. I mean, I'm getting some of this from you is my reaction to your awareness of all this. But give up on this fight with the millennials. I mean, who gives a crap about Laura Ingraham? Okay, if David Hogg and the kids want to organize a boycott of her, so be it. Okay, and if you're worried because you got screwed years ago, I mean, there are going to be casualties. All right, I might be a casualty. You might be a casualty. So what? We must confront this conspiracy, and there's going to be damage, okay? And if Laura Ingraham has to go by the wayside of the kids organized against her, so be it. You know, I mean, think about all these people on Fox News anyway. I mean, for one thing, during the day about Fox, you can, I mean, it's just a slant. Okay, but they're reporting the news pretty straight. You get to prime time, and it's one nut job after another. And the thing about it is, I understand a slant, but they do not care whether they're telling the truth. Okay, they are 100% politically motivated. They just spew off the party line, the Trump line, to discredit Mueller, even though there's a journalist, man. They've got exposure to the other facts, but they don't care. They don't care to ferret out the truth. Okay, the kids know that. Why, if they want to punish Laura Ingraham for choosing to be an ideological shill for this Russian-financed, Trump-led conspiracy against American democracy and against global democracy, so be it. Okay, so be it. Don't go up standing. When she's defending herself, she showed your remarks, and of course, I was sitting there thinking, well, show the whole show. I mean, show when you called her a really horrible person, terrible person. I forget the exact quote, but she does not. Hannity does not care whether he's telling the truth. He wants a little piece of truth and a whole bunch of lies to support this conspiracy. They're part of it. Okay, they're part of it. Their expert on the Mueller investigation was a little creep from RT. Okay, that Fox is peddling RT's version of the Mueller probe. Okay, that's how deep this is. Okay, and I know you know it, but we need them. Okay, we need to properly lead them, and maybe follow them, because I don't know whether we've got it in us. We're supposed to. I mean, you look at the leadership generation that brought us through World War II. They brought us to a resounding victory. You look at the leadership generation of the Civil War. The Union leadership. I mean, there's never been wiser leadership under graver circumstances. And you compare what we've got to deal with now. I mean, we've got an external enemy, a primary enemy that we can mobilize against, but we've got a leadership in the White House which is pursuing the same objective. They want a piece of the Russian oligarch's pie. Okay, and the kids know this. All right, there is no compromise with that. Okay, we must confront it, and don't sit around feeling sorry for Laura Ingraham just because her situation is somewhat similar to what yours was when the right-wing nuts were organizing a boycott of you. Okay, you're not as brilliant as you are. It's not about you. It's a bigger